Oh my God, Rocks. Oda, yo, I cannot do this with you, Oda. I've been crying for 2 days straight. Like, this is so heartbreaking. But let's continue. Welcome back to the club. We're literally at a funeral where we make kidding. We make review, right? But we're mourning the death of a goat. Oda, why? I'm sorry, guys, but I'm sad. But we got to put the panic mode, the sad mode aside and talk, okay? So give me a second. Yeah, let me leave my emotions aside and start our discussion about the most impactful chapter of the Elbaf and God Valley flashback, okay? It's one of the most mind-blowing events in One Piece. You have Roger finding the One Piece and Rox's downfall, and they go hand in hand. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Please subscribe to the channel so the algorithm actually shares it with more people. Like it as much as possible. Actually, let's do something. Let's get to 20 likes on this video. I haven't done that before, so let's start with 20. Next video, we go with 40, and then we build from there, okay? But subscribing and liking gives me a lot of support. Huge support and motivation to continue making videos for you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before we get into it, I just want to share my impressions on the God Valley flashback. In terms of stakes, it lived up to my expectations, and perhaps even more. The tension I felt in the past 6 chapters equals that of many big arcs, which is insane. But remember, the arc has only been going on for only 6 chapters, and I can't believe how much action Oda managed to pack in them. In terms of the backstory of the incident and how it started, I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest. That makes me a bit pessimistic about the role of women in One Piece, and I've seen some guys who went too far with their criticism. I love how Oda presented Rock. I love how he presented Dragon and Kuma. Now, Kuma's character was already there with its depth and complexity. But these chapters, Oda has managed to make Dragon and Rocks one of my favorite characters. With a few panels, guys, these 2 characters showed not just how critical they are to the story, also how they view the world, how they stand up against tyranny, and how they sacrifice themselves to save innocent people. Of course, this is not a reaction video, so I'm gonna just stop right here. Like always, it's a crime when we don't start with Goat the Dragon. This is absolute madness, Oda. This guy is unbelievable. He went as far as to threaten his captain to save civilian lives. I don't know what else to say about Dragon, excluding Kuma, of course, because this guy outweighs all One Piece characters in terms of the sense of justice. Well, of course, we got Saul and Fujitora there too, but of course, I'm exaggerating a bit. Now the island has become the stage for the final showdown of Garp and Roger versus Rocks. It was just speculation on my part, but it really did seem that Dormi Reversi greatly increases the physical strength and durability of its victims. Garp and Roger's attacks weren't weak by any standard. That was already a level higher. It was basically a level higher than current Luffy, maybe even higher than Kaido's. Usually, in shonen series, you often have this situation when former enemies hate working together, basically working together when it's necessary. We saw this just in Egghead when Luffy and Zoro, they basically hated the idea of working with CP0 to defeat the Seraphim. But contrary to this, Roger and Garp quickly agreed to work, which just shows their maturity at this time in the story. They're still crazy and young, yes, but at least, they can make sound judgments. And not just this, right? If it was somebody else or someone else, they'd not attack Rocks with the intention of killing him. The reason is this panel right here. Despite realizing that Rocks' actions contradict his behavior, they didn't hesitate for a second. They didn't even stop to try to understand what was going on, which is actually a good thing on the battlefield. Their quick judgment was actually correct, and showing sympathy would actually lead to their death. On top of them being battle geniuses, they're absolute monsters. Somebody please needs to come up with a new word for the level of power that these guys have reached. God Valley is not a small island, and it was shaking every time they clashed. That's crazy when you remember how we reacted to Luffy and Kaido when they clashed and split the sky. That looks like a joke compare to this. As much as I loved how Oda portrayed Garp and Roger in their prime, now whether this is their prime or not does not matter. It does not matter. Just let me finish my sentence, okay? I'm gonna need y'all to like starve the internal criticism machine. I have a few complaints to make regarding this fight. I thought we understood the idea behind coding attacks with Conqueror's Haki. So what Oda actually needed to do was give us more explanation or insight on how it works, as well as other related things that involve this overpowered or OP ability. But instead we got more mysteries. Like, what is this mass Roger is talking about? I am not understanding that. I don't understand that. What does that mass mean? Is that how Roger describes the ability with his gut feeling? Is that how he explains it? I don't know, guys. And honestly, I no longer follow how Oda treats Haki in One Piece. Power system in One Piece has always been one of the best aspects of the story, and essential one as well. But now it seems as if it's just for the sake of aesthetic. Power-ups and stuff like that are just to make fights cooler. It's too early to judge, right? I'm gonna say it's too early to judge, probably because revealing more about Haki or revealing a lot about Haki is directly connected to other big mysteries in the story. So let's move on. All right. So Garp and Roger found themselves in a situation where they had to throw everything at rocks in one big attack. Now, this is classic shonen thing, but the difference here is that Rocks probably didn't have a chance to withstand this attack. Rocks was not far stronger than Garp or Roger. Dormy Reversi gave him a boost, of course, but that does not affect the strength of his Conqueror's Haki. So they had to just unleash more than what Rocks had just to beat him. Simple, right? Now, whether this is a good thing or bad thing for the story, I can't say yet. But regardless of the simplicity of the fight, this was really the pinnacle. I know that the strongest Conqueror's Haki we've witnessed so far is Emmett releasing Joy Boy's Haki. We saw that when he used it on the Five Elders last arc, in the Egghead arc. And we know it's about to happen soon in the animation. And I'm looking forward to that. Hey, if you're looking forward to seeing that, put a 1 in the comments. Let's continue. But in terms of combat, I believe that this is the first time we've seen this level. And to be honest, Luffy is still far from this level. He gets exhausted quickly from using Gear 5 as well as using Conqueror's Haki in Gear 5, let alone doing this crazy stuff with Haki. So far, I've been trying to stay as objective as possible, but I can't hold that in anymore. We still haven't recovered from Kuma's flashback, bro. When I remember how I hyped Rocks in the past reviews, and to see this, it hurts. It hurts. And it can't be true. We're all hurting. Basically, Rocks died thinking he killed his son and wife. I mean, how could he know that Kuma saved them, right? For him, they just disappeared from existence. And moreover, since he's being controlled by Emu, he's only using the voice of all things to perceive things, to communicate with Roger and Garp. So at that moment, Teach and Ares' voice, to me, I feel like disappeared or vanished, which does sound like he actually killed them. On the other hand, we have Teach. This kid thinks his father wanted to kill him and his mom. Like I talked about this last time, and how it was guaranteed for Teach to actually grow up into this twisted person he is right now. Like, this makes you understand or have a better understanding on why it's easy for him to betray Whitebeard and not have any feelings towards his crew. Like, even assuming Ares told him about the truth, the result will remain the same. The guy saw his father, who was the absolute strongest pirate in the world, get smashed by Emu. Straight despair. Straight despair. That's all that is left for him. But the possibility for wanting revenge is still there. So I won't be too hasty with my judgments, because I actually might want to see that. Just the idea of Blackbeard versus Emu is enough for me to not sleep for 3 days, because it's going to be peak. Okay, so now let's talk about some other things, right? I'm disappointed, okay? Look, I love the chapter, but what the Rocks pirate did here was kind of hard to understand. I thought that at least Whitebeard and Kaido cared for their captain. And I know it's impossible for them to defeat Rocks, but they could have stayed with Roger and Garp in the fight. In this chapter, they look as if they don't know Rocks. It looks as if they don't know that Rocks is being possessed. Like, how do you not see the transformation? I just can't believe it. It was too easy for the giant warrior pirates to notice the effects of Dormy Reversi on their captains. They knew it wasn't them. For the Rocks pirate to lose their confidence in their captain this quick was just unbelievable. I know that Oda wanted to make the fight of Roger, Rocks, and Garp the expected fight, but I think we needed a better excuse than just them two fighting, Rocks, Garp, and Roger. Otherwise, our views about these legendary characters will not be stable because it's going to fluctuate. You know what I mean? We won't fully appreciate their characters if we keep finding ourselves in front of questions like these. Y'all were so strong, y'all couldn't even join in the fight with your captain. Y'all couldn't even join in the fight with Roger and Garp. I get it, Big Mom was on you, Kaido. I get that you had things to do like Whitebeard, but damn, that sucks. Imagine the toll on Roger and Garp. For the rest of the crew, it's understandable. They followed Rocks for as long as he kept winning, but I thought that these two were different. Mistakes happen, and honestly, if they had stayed any longer on that island, they would have died after the fight was over. Kaido and Big Mom had this basically sweet conversation, which I think is a hint by Oda. It hints at the return of these two characters, and I love this idea. I don't know what role they could possibly play in the final saga, but I hope to see them forming an independent force and to give Akainu more headaches. So, the Straw Hats, we have Dragon, we have Cross Guild, we have Blackbeard, and you add Big Mom and Kaido? Nah. He's definitely gonna throw himself from a sky island or something. But we forgot that he's actually a Logia, so he can't die. As for Whitebeard, he met Pineapple Sr. Bro, Polo, he's just Marco. Marco with a beard with wrinkles. Even their haircuts are the same, and I can't believe it. You meet Marco's dad and his name is yo. So this is how Whitebeard's family basically started. Marco wasn't just some kid that Whitebeard picked along the way. He was truly the foundation of the Whitebeard Pirates alongside his father. The other characters escaped with treasures they could take. Ishiki looked very happy, which is good to see. Gloriosa got a pickup from the Roger Pirates, and there is this guy alongside Ganzui who uses a hollow. He's the former user of the Holo Holo no Mi, which is basically Perona's devil fruit. And of course, Ganzui was turned into a zombie by Moria. So I wonder what happened at a certain point after the God Valley flashback. We also see Gaban and Rayleigh returning to save their captain, who just exhausted his energy. But I wonder about Garp. Who's gonna save this guy? Dragon is working to save civilians and get them on the marine ship. And Imu has ordered the destruction of the island and left. So I think that some marines stayed behind, or basically Bogard will save him. We all wanted to see some feat of Bogard, but Oda couldn't afford to make this arc as long as we wanted. So with God Valley erased from history and official documents, the Rocks Pirates and the chaos they brought with them to the world became legend. But that's not true. We can until today feel the impact of the God Valley incident and the legacy that the Rocks Pirates left behind. It was here that Roger made his life goal to find the One Piece. It was here that Garp was forced to work for the embodiment of evil as their symbol and their hero. He wanted to protect the many nameless Marines and their families from this evil. But I will talk about this in the video soon to come. Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, they all became the central figures in the great age of piracy and shaped the era. They shaped the era longer than any other pirate. Dragon left the Marines, built a strategy, founded the Revolutionary Army, and he is now in front of the last boss. And after 38 years, he will challenge Imu and the Holy Knights to bring a bright future to this world. The true turning point where the fates of all the big players changed wasn't Roger's execution. It was the God Valley incident.